Hey guys, today we're going to go over how to set up a Google display campaign. In order to do so, you need to go to your Google Ads account, and in the campaigns view, you can click on the plus sign and choose new campaign. In the next page, you can choose from different campaign objectives that match your needs. If you have, for example, you're selling a product, you could choose a sales campaign, or if you are generating leads, you could choose the leads campaign. For the purposes of this video, we're going to create a campaign without a goals guidance. When you click on your objective, the next thing you need to choose is your campaign type. Now we have different options here, and for this video, we're going to choose display. Next, you should enter your website, for example, adflex.io, and then you can choose a name for your campaign. For example, we're going to say display test campaign and click continue. Okay, now in this page, you have different panels. I'm going to explain them first and then go over different settings that you could choose for a campaign. On the left side, you could see different steps of setting up a campaign. First step is campaign settings, then it's the budget and bidding, then targeting and ads, and at the end you have a review section. On your right side, you could see your weekly estimates. This is the estimate that Google is showing based on different settings and features and targetings that you choose. And as you edit your targeting, this estimate would change. Now, let's dive in and create a campaign. The first setting that you need to set up is your location. You could choose to target every country or territory, or you could choose to target a certain country if you want, and you could include one or more than one location. For example, I'm going to target the United Kingdom. You could choose to target or exclude a certain territory or country here. Also, you have more location options which you could choose from. The first one is your targeting. You could choose to target people who are present in your targeted location or have shown an interest. For example, there might be people in the United States who have been searching for theme parks in United Kingdom or in London. And these people will be the target of these campaigns if you choose presence or interest. But if you want to choose only people who are present in that location, you should choose the second option. Same thing is available for excluding people who are interested or present in a certain location. Next, you have the language option. By default, you can see the English language, and you could choose to add or remove any language that you wish to target. We're going to leave it on English for this video. Next, you have some settings here you could choose from. You could edit these settings later on as well, but I'm just going to briefly explain each one. First, you have the ad rotation, which is by default set to optimize. Google will choose your best performing ad in terms of CTR, in terms of clicks and conversions to show your advertisements. Or you could choose not to optimize your ads, which will tell Google not to choose one or more than one ad which are performing better, but rather spend the budget on every ad and rotate them indefinitely. Next, you have the ad schedule. You could schedule your ad to run in certain times. If you are targeting a certain location, this could come in handy. You could also choose to target different devices. If you have a certain product which is usually searched using computers or using mobile phones or tablets, you could choose to target users who are accessing Google on those devices. Also, we have dynamic ads here, which you could choose from. This will tell Google to personalize your ads based on what content they have seen on your website. Also, you have other options like start and end dates, and also content exclusion, which could be especially useful if you are doing a broad campaign and you're not doing niche targeting. You could choose to not show your ad on sites with different labeled or sensitive content or content type which are being identified in this section. For this video, we're not going to change any of this and we're going to move on. So we're going to click next. The next thing you are asked to enter is your campaign budget. You could set a daily budget for this campaign. For example, we're going to use 10 euros. Next, you have different options for bidding, which could prove effective for different campaigns, for different products, or different users. You could go ahead and try them out and see which one works best for your business. If you are new to this, you could choose maximizing conversion, or you could use target CPA, but if you are more adept to using Google Ads, you could choose manual CPC, which will give you a lot of options and you are more hands-on with it and you could optimize it to your best interest. You could choose to leave this on to have enhanced CPC, which will sometimes bid more than you determine, and you could choose to take it off and you will be given this notice which says you will get a lower performance, but you could optimize your campaign the way you want. And you could take this off, which will be prompted with this notice which says you will get a lower performance. Don't worry about that if you want to really control your campaign. Now let's just put a bid of 20 cents here and move on. As you see, each change that is made to the different options here, we get a refresh of weekly estimates. Right now, what we have changed hasn't really narrowed down the impressions that we would be likely getting in each week. But we have an estimate of performance here. Now in this page, which is one of the most important parts of a display campaign, you have the targeting options. This gives you the option to target your audience in different angles and different ways. As you can see here, you have audience segments, you have demographics, keywords, topics, placements. You could use one or even more than one of these to mix and match and get your desired user. Now I'm going to explain each section to you. The first one is audience segment. In the audience segment, you are given some ideas and some segments that Google is identifying users based on, and you could use them. For example, you have different categories here. You have advertising and marketing services. These are some of these suggestions will be based on your website. Some of them would be based on the user targeting audiences that you have used in your previous campaigns. But you could choose to browse and you could see every option here. You have the demographics, you have the affinity, you have in-market and live events, your data and similar segments, combined segments, and custom segments. Detailed demographic is self-explanatory and I wouldn't go into it. Affinity is people who are showing interest in a certain subject or a certain product or a category, but they are not necessarily ready to buy anything or use any services, but they have been showing searches and Google has identified them as interested in those topics. Next, we have in-market and live events. Google has identified as users who are ready to buy or use a service. These in-market segments could be really useful depending on what category you are working on. For example, if you are selling a beauty and personal care product, you could see different subcategories here. You can have makeup and cosmetics, and then you have eye makeup, face makeup, and different categories here. So these could prove to be really helpful. And also you have live events, which can help you identify your target users if they are in a certain stage of their life, if they are changing a job recently, or if they're married. For example, if you are showing products which are related to marriage celebrations, you could use getting married soon, which could prove really helpful. Just as an example, we're going to choose some of these categories to see how our weekly estimate would change. For example, we are looking for people who are in market for business services. We open this category, we have advertising and marketing services, which obviously AdFlex is related to. And then we have SEO and SEM services. So I'm going to check this box, and as you can see, this estimate is changing. And now we are down by 7.5 billion impressions weekly. Now this is still too broad, so we could narrow it down further by using different segments. This is one of them. If we want to expand our impressions, we could add more targets from these options that we have here. So we're just going to move on to the next one. We have demographics here again. You could choose the gender, age, parental status, and also we have the keywords. Now this part could also prove really helpful. You could choose to show your ads to people who have searched for terms related to a product or services on relevant websites. For example, our service is appealing to advertisers, so we are going to choose keywords that are probably searched by them: Facebook and advertising, ad spy, ads, spy Facebook, AdWords Facebook, ad spy. And you can see that our weekly impression has changed. Now this is a drastic decrease in our weekly estimate. This is not bad. Don't worry about it if you have a narrow impression. If you get too narrow impression, you wouldn't be able to show your ads to enough users. But if you have a reach of 300,000 impressions weekly, that would be a good estimate depending on the budget you are spending. For example, we are spending 10 euros with a bid of 20 cents. So we will get something between 60 to 520 clicks, and average CPC will be from 6 to 17 cents. So this is a good targeting for me right now. And I'm going to go ahead and use this targeting, but you have options to suggest topics. By suggesting topics, you suggest websites, apps, or videos that are about a certain topic, and your ads will be shown on those placements. Or alternatively, you could just use a list of placements that you want your ads to be shown on. Let me just quickly go over this because this is really helpful if you are using display ads. For example, I'm going to show my ads on videos which are about Facebook advertising. So I'm going to search Facebook advertising, and we have 399 websites. Usually websites are not too relevant. They might be somewhat relevant to your search here. We have YouTube channels, YouTube videos, apps, and app categories. So let's go into YouTube videos, and you can see we have different videos with their views, with their channel name. And you could choose to include any of these videos, and as you can see, when I choose a certain video, my weekly estimate changes. Now, because we have used the keyword targeting, and we have also used audience segments, now there is 3 different categories that we have used. Combining these 3, the users that we get will be too few for Google Ads to be able to show your ads to. So be mindful of the targeting that you use so you don't narrow yourself down, or have a broad audience which are not really your targeted users. Okay, now let's move on from this section. You have different targeting options, and you have the optimized targeting here, which is on by default. This gives Google the option to show your ads beyond your placements, your targeting, your keywords, and the places that you have chosen. You could choose to leave it on, or you could choose to check it off and have it use exactly your targeting. Now let's move on to the next section. In here you have to create your ad. You could, if you have created ads before, choose to upload them or copy an existing ad from different campaigns. We are going to assume that you haven't created a campaign before and you want to create a campaign from scratch. So in order to do so, first you need to enter the final URL that your users, the people who see your ad, will land on. It needs to have an HTTPS in the URL. Then you have the business name, ad flex. You have the option to add 15 images to your ad. These could be both landscape and square images. When you enter a final URL, it is automatically scanned and suggestions will be given to you both for images and headlines. Next, you can upload up to 5 logos for your ad to use. And you could also use videos which could be portrait or landscape. These videos have to be uploaded to YouTube first. You could choose to unlist them so they are not shown in your feed, but only used to run on Google Ads. Next, you have to add up to 5 headlines. The first one is required, but the other 4 are optional. Again, you have suggestions based on your website. Next, you have the long headline, which is up to 90 characters long. This gives you more option to give more information about your product or the service you are giving to users. And then you have the descriptions. Again, up to 5 descriptions can be added, and you have the suggestions based on your website. And you have some additional format options here. These could be useful for some campaigns. They might not necessarily be good for you. You have to test them out. The first one is use asset enhancements, which essentially changes how your ads are viewed, their borderlines, their coloring are changed to match your ad or the website that is being shown on. And you can choose to auto-generate videos, which uses your photos, your logo, your headlines to create quick videos which could be more catchy and be more interesting and attractive to your users. And at the end, you have the native format option, which essentially changes your videos into a design which could look more like the base website that your ad is being shown on. So it would be more effective. People would think that this is the content that website is showing. And at the end, you have some more options to add call to action text or use some custom colors if you want for your ad and your text. And when you click next, you are moved to a review page. In this review page, everything that you have entered up to now will be reviewed by Google. So there are no missing information. We haven't entered anything into the ads section. So we have this error here, and we could just click on this fix and go to the page again and fix the error and move on with our campaign. And after you have fixed your errors, you could just go to the review page again and click on publish to publish your campaign if everything is fine with you. And this is it for this video. Leave us a comment if you have any questions or you want any other videos to be created for you.